just captured a village 7 kilometers from the border of Ukraine's central Dnipropetrovsk region. Russia's defense ministry said on Sunday. Russian army units liberated the village of Zaporizhzhia in the eastern Donetsk region, the ministry said in a statement. We have more Ukraine's Air Force says it shot down 65 out of 111. Ukraine's Air Force says it has shut down 65 out of 111 drones launched by Russia's overnight as strikes hit multiple regions, causing damage in Kharkiv, Sumy, Odessa and Donetsk. In Kharkiv, a Russian drone strike on a military hospital, shopping centre and residential buildings killed at least 2 people and injured 25 others. This is what a survivor said.
Таке враження, що він пикірує. Я вибігаю в другу кімнату, стається приліт. Мене трошки посікло ось осколками стекла та перед обличчям ось так упала палка. Я вже вращався з життям. Ну і, мабуть,
Meanwhile, Moscow claims its forces captured 2 villages in Zaporizhzhia region and in Donetsk. Russia also accuses Ukraine of striking its energy facilities despite a US brokered agreement to avoid such attacks. President Volodymyr Zelensky says Ukraine's military is taking active measures to stop Russian advances in Sumy and Kharkiv. He has called for a strong Western response to Russia's continued assaults. This is what he said.
Росію треба примусити до миру, і тільки примус спрацює. Вже надто довго на столі пропозиція Америки про безумовне припинення вогню, без адекватної відповіді з Росії. Це багато говорить. Вже могло би бути припинення вогню, якби на Росію був справжній.
More from Eastern Europe now, where an Urus limousine allegedly belonging to Putin's official car fleet blew up in a huge blast on a street just north of Moscow's Federal Security Service headquarters in Lubyanka. The £275,000 vehicle was engulfed in flames, prompting bystanders, some rushing from nearby bars, to attempt to extinguish the fire before emergency services arrived. Footage circulating online shows the fire spreading from the engine to the vehicle's interior, completely consuming the limousine. According to reports, the limo is managed by Presidential Property Department, which oversees transport for Russia's leadership. It remains unclear who was inside the vehicle at the time of the incident. We now move over to the United States, where amid reports that Donald Trump might fire the National Security Advisor Mike Waltz after his misstep of inclusion of a journalist in a Signal chat. Mike Waltz mistakenly had added Jeffrey Goldberg, the editor of The Atlantic magazine, to a group using text, the Signal encrypted messaging service where top officials were discussing plans to attack the Houthis in Yemen. During the chat, Hegseth included details on how the strike would unfold before it took place. The Atlantic published an article the following day on the internal exchange, shocking the national security establishment and hitting headlines across the world. In recent updates, Trump has declined any notion of firing his national advisor. Donald Trump also asserted that he had confidence in his national security advisor Mike Waltz and Pete Hegseth, his Pentagon chief. During a press conference, Donald Trump addressed comments regarding Mike Waltz.
Well, yeah, Mike Waltz, I guess he said he claimed responsibility, I would imagine. Had nothing to do with anyone else. It was Mike, I guess. I don't know. I was told it was Mike. But again, the attacks were unbelievably successful, and that's ultimately what you should be talking about, I think. No, Mike he took responsibility for it.
US Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has called Japan indispensable in countering Chinese aggression and ensuring a credible deterrence in the Indo-Pacific. Speaking in Tokyo alongside Japan's Defense Minister General Nakatani, Hegseth highlighted the strong military ties between the two nations, calling Japan a cornerstone of peace and security in the region. Here's what Hegseth had to say.
Japan is our indispensable partner in deterring communist Chinese military aggression. The U.S. is moving fast, as you know, to reestablish deterrence in this region and around the world, and we look forward to working with you and learning more.
Japan hosts around 50,000 US military personnel, fighter squadrons, and Washington's only forward deployed aircraft carrier strike group. Its strategic location along a 3,000-kilometer island chain serves as a critical counterbalance to China's growing military power. Hegseth's remarks come as the US reassesses its commitments in other regions, recently warning European allies not to take Washington's military presence for granted. His visit to Japan follows a stop in the Philippines and a memorial service at IWO Jima, marking 80 years since the historic battle of World War II. We move to Turkey now, where many people protested in the capital of Istanbul against the jailing of the mayor Ekrem İmamoğlu, who was the President Tayyip Erdogan's main rival. This is the largest demonstration Turkey has seen in more than a decade. Özgür Özel, the main leader of the opposition party CHP, which organised the rally, said there were 2.2 million people in the crowd. However, the numbers are yet to be confirmed. The demonstrations have mostly been peaceful, but some earlier protests faced heavy-handed police tactics who fired tear gas and rubber bullets at the crowd. Nearly 2,000 people have been arrested, including some journalists who had been covering the protests. A Swedish journalist who was detained on his arrival in Turkey to cover the protests. The Turkish presidency said he had been arrested on charges of membership in an armed terrorist organisation and for insulting the president. The presidency said Medin was known for anti-Turkey news and his closeness to the terrorist organisation PKK, the banned Kurdish militant group. They also added that this arrest decision has no connection whatsoever to journalistic activities, it added. Well, that's all we have time for. We will continue to bring you more news updates from across the world.